We just wrapped up the Lake Murray Bassmaster Elite Series event this last week. Ended up the tournament in 25th place. It was a good tournament for me. I mean, the last time we were here, I took 5th. So I kind of had high hopes going into the event. Fish were doing similar things. A lot of fry guarding bass going on, bedding fish going on, and then always the herring fish that you can catch out there. So I did a hodgepodge of everything this last week at Lake Murray, and like I said, ended up 25th. Had one really good day. Day number 1, I caught almost 22 pounds. Day number 2, I caught just under 20. And day number 3, struggled a little bit. Never got those herring bites on day number 3, which was absolutely critical, and only came in with 17.5 pounds, dropping me from, I believe, around 13th down to 25th. So kind of what I want to talk about this week is just going through, some of the baits that I caught them on this week and kind of what was going on Lake Murray day to day. So day 1 of the event, we had overcast conditions, a lot of clouds, some wind, a lot of rain that morning. It rained pretty hard that morning, but the fish bit good. Everybody caught a lot of fish, and that was ultimately my best day of the event, almost 22 pounds. What I caught my fish on that day, primarily what I caught them on was a nose hook caffeine shad. I threw that on a spinning rod exclusively. It was the Mark Zonas Signature Series 7-foot medium fast action. I threw that along with a few other baits that I mixed in throughout, the herring spawn deal. But to back that up in the afternoons, that's when I brought out the Strike King filler worm and Morning Dawn. Everybody knows a pink worm. On Lake Murray exclusively is just a really good way to get bit. Paired that up on a drop shot, was utilizing a 1/4 ounce Wu Tungsten drop shot weight and a custom light spinning reel, 200 size, and I was using the new Seaguar Grand Max leader. I was using 15-pound leader paired up with 21-pound Seaguar PEX braid. All around great setup. I use this setup all around the country. That Mark Zonas, that 7-foot medium, it's actually an extra fast rod, is one of my go-tos. I use it for almost every technique. Like I said, I used it for that fluke. I also use the LFS a little bit too. They make a 610 that's really nice for that fluke as well, but I'll either use this 7-foot medium extra fast Signature Series or that LFS 610. And filler worm, like I said, the nose hooked caffeine shad fluke style bait worked really good for me that first day. Moving on to day 2 of the event, a lot of the same setup. Caught a big one right away in the morning, a 6-pound 2-ouncer.
Yes. Look at the size of that one. Oh, that was the best bite. Get to that so bad. Holy shit. Look at that to start the day, baby.
On that nose hook caffeine shad, so that was pretty awesome to do that first thing. And then the rest of the day, it got pretty grimy for me on day 2. I caught some fish on a jerkbait and then caught some more fish on that filler worm that day to fill out my limit. That kicker went a huge, really long ways that morning, that 6-pound 2-ouncer that I caught that morning. So that kind of wrapped up day 2. It was a good day overall, almost 20 pounds, so couldn't complain about that. Was trying to get in that top 10 the third day. Was looking for, a huge bag, a 21 to 23 pound bag, and just never connected with it. I caught 2 fish, around 2.5 pounds in the morning, and just filled it out with, some average fish throughout the day. I did catch 2 4-pounders. One of my 4-pounders did catch off a bed, and I caught that one on a baby Z2 on a drop shot. It was just over 4 pounds. So one of my biggest fish of the day for day number 3, like I said, caught 17.5 pounds, dropped to 25th. No complaints from me. Lake Murray has some huge bass in it, and you know, we caught a lot of fish in practice. The tournament was a little bit tougher for me personally. But one other thing that I wanted to mention that I did get a few bites on, but never really connected quite fully, you know, during the event on, you know, what these guys were absolutely blasting these herring fish on. But that chartreuse caffeine shad from Strike King right there was an absolute fish catcher this week on Lake Murray. I didn't utilize it quite enough as some of the other anglers did, and you can see it in some of the footage. But this bait ultimately got you big bites out on Lake Murray that week, and I should have utilized it more. Got some bites on it, not enough to make the top 10, but a great tournament nonetheless. Now the setup for that bigger caffeine shad, exclusively the chartreuse one, I throw that on a signature series. This is actually the Andy Morgan chatterbait rod. It's a little bit stiffer than your average chatterbait rod, so I kind of like that parabolic bend for that caffeine shad. And I pair that up with a Lew's Tournament Pro reel and 17-pound Seagar and Vizix. Just a great all-around go-to. And then I also utilize a 4-aught worm hook, super line style, for that caffeine shad. Like I talked about earlier, man, it was raining cats and dogs. I think it rained from the time we put in the water to at least 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it rained really hard. That's where the whitewater came into play. For me personally, being comfortable out on the water is the #1 thing that we need to focus on during the day, you know, to catch us the biggest fish and not worry about the elements and getting wet and stuff like that. And I was comfortable all day long in my whitewater gear, no questions asked. You know, fished in some crazy stuff that first day, and the stuff that I wore was phenomenal. I highly suggest you guys go out and check out some whitewater gear. They've come out with a lot of new stuff here recently, and it is some of the best stuff that I personally ever eat. So now we are here at Santee Cooper getting ready for this week's event. Short turnaround, practice starts tomorrow. Getting ready to get out there and find some big bass. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're almost, we're through the halfway point in the season already. So pretty crazy for that. Sitting decent in points right now, I believe somewhere in the 20s or 21st or something like that. So very happy with how I've, you know, kind of overcome some of the struggles I've had early in the year and had some decent finishes, and looking forward to Santee. Like I said, looking for some big fish, some 7 to 10 pounders out here, and maybe something special will happen this week, but nonetheless, we're going to try and find enough fish to obviously make that top 50 cut. That's the plan every time. So we're out.